Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. Quick info, 2 stories, both of them have updates. Let's get started. This post is from the subreddit Relationship Advice and it's by user throwaway IDK1. Friend's sister, 20s female, was openly flirting with my husband, 40 male, in front of me, 31 female. I told her off publicly and now they want a public apology from me. What action should I take so that I don't ruin my friendship? I, 31 female, am close friends with Lisa, 33 female. We met at college and became roommates, and I love her to death. Lisa has a sister, Amy, 20s female, who I've met occasionally while in college, but she was so young at the time that we never really hung out. Lisa had a bridal shower in February, and I financially contributed to most of it since I wasn't able to be there in person to help with the planning. I gave Amy money to pay for everything, the decoration, food, and alcohol. I even paid for an overnight stay at a hotel for all 7 girls. I did all of this because I couldn't make it to her bachelorette party the week before. I had also paid for the limo where Amy wanted to host the party. At the shower, I saw Amy, and she was gushing about how I had spent a lot of money on Lisa. I just said that if it was for Lisa, I would have paid anything. Amy started hinting that my job was paying me so much money to spend on Lisa this much. I'm a new surgeon who just graduated from residency. I got a pay bump, but not a lot. I'm lucky because my husband is supporting me while I go through fellowship. My husband, 40 male, is a doctor too, but so much more advanced in his career than me. As a wedding gift for me, he paid off the remainder of my student loans. He is amazing and I am obsessed with him. So, the wedding happened this March. My husband and I came for the wedding. Family and close friends were invited to Lisa's parents' place for dinner after. Amy was very handsy with my husband the whole time, even during the wedding. She was asking him about his job, saying how smart he was to be working in the ICU, how hot he was, how he looked like a young Alain Delon, blah blah blah. My husband was giving me signals to come to him, and I did. This happened at least 2 more times. At Lisa's parents' place, Amy was wrapping her arm around my husband's back and was serving him drinks and food. I told Lisa's mom about how Amy's making me and my husband very uncomfortable, and her mom pulled her aside and told her off. I think because she came out grumpy. She was still acting like a crazed teenager because when we wanted to leave, she wouldn't give my husband his jacket back to him and kept sniffing it. I had a feeling that she was drunk and completely out of it. My husband raised his voice and told her to stop messing around and give it to him. I yelled, "Can you stop being difficult? You've been shamelessly flirting with my husband in front of me the whole day. Give me the damn jacket and leave us alone." And then we left. Later, I got a text from Lisa's mom demanding I publicly apologize to Amy, as in posting a heartfelt apology on social media because some of the guests heard me yell at her and thought I was overreacting and humiliating her. Lisa was on my side and told me Amy had always had gold-digging tendencies and that this wasn't the first time she'd done something like this. She flirted with her dad's friend and their next-door neighbor, who was married. She did this when she thought that they were wealthy. Lisa said that she'll handle it. I already felt so bad I ruined the last moments of her wedding day, and now she has to deal with this. I've been contemplating this a lot lately and wondering if I should apologize to Amy. I don't want to, but then again, if I did, I would explain exactly what happened and how it merited my reaction to her. However, this might add fuel to the fire. There is so much drama right now and I want to preserve my friendship with Lisa. Well, OP, I don't think your friendship with Lisa is under a threat or in any kind of danger. I mean, what is her mom going to do if you don't apologize? Gonna ground Lisa and forbid her to hang out with you? She's not a kid anymore and she's a married woman. The mom has no power now. And Lisa said she was on your side and that she was going to try to handle it. And if Lisa decides that she's not going to do anything and both Amy and her mom can go pound sand, well, that's Lisa's decision and I think it'd be the healthy one. Now, if anybody warranted an apology, I'm sure it would be Lisa for the whole mess at the end of her wedding. And I'm sure you already excused yourself for that, or else Lisa wouldn't be trying to help you out. OP, you don't owe Amy any kind of apology. She did nothing but make you and your husband uncomfortable throughout the whole night with her relentless flirting, and oh my god, it must have been so annoying. I'm really sorry you had to go through that. And what do you guys think about OP's situation? What would you do? Would you apologize? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Hill Mikkelsen says, "Are you kidding me? That girl publicly flirted with your husband and showed no respect for you, your husband, or your relationship. You didn't say anything wrong to her, you simply stated the truth. If she and her family didn't like it, it's not your problem. Don't humiliate yourself by apologizing to her, because all you'll accomplish is validating her behavior and essentially telling her that she's free to keep flirting and pursuing your husband. Stop having the spine of a jellyfish and stand your ground. Be careful, because after that incident, she might try to contact your husband behind your back." Bored Panda 55 says, "Do not apologize. Tell the mom your husband is the one that deserves the apology from Amy for stepping over boundaries and harassing your husband all night. This wasn't just flirting, this was downright sexual harassment of your husband. He said no how many times? If her daughter hadn't been sexually harassing him even after they and you talked to her, you wouldn't have had to call her out. From the sounds of it, Lisa understands why it happened. Amy should apologize to her as well." And Scandalizing says, "Do it please with the whole story." Quote, "In the aftermath of International Women's Day, I've realized I, a woman, have lacked solidarity with my sisters, and I want to apologize publicly to Amy. I took the side of a man over a lady, and that is never okay. I sided with my husband when I should have stood with Amy and agreed he really should sleep with her, give her money, and bestow the validation she rightfully feels entitled to. It is true that my husband felt quite physically ill at her incessant flirting, and that he wanted to throw her or himself through a window in order to escape her clutches. But that is no excuse for me humiliating her by accurately describing the situation in earshot of the very few people who weren't already aware of her clearly raging libido and her passionate desire for my husband. I've been so unfair, and her mother is another woman I have let down by not apologizing to her princess soon enough. So, at your mother's repeated insistence, sweet innocent Amy, I'm truly sorry for accurately accusing you of sexually harassing my husband. Obviously, he should have left me for you, and I should have taken nothing in my divorce, paid for your wedding, and acted as your surrogate so you can have my husband's baby without any unnecessary inconvenience. I apologize for my part in your lack of success in bagging a rich husband." End quote. And OP's one and only comment says, "Her mom wants me to tag her and Lisa so that their family can see it. I don't even use Facebook anymore, but her family are still active on it." Alright, well, OP got some pretty clear and solid advice and a brutal takedown of Amy at the same time. That was fantastic. So now it's time for us to move on to the update to see how the story ends. But before that, if you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to click that like button, leave a comment with your opinion in the comment section, and of course, subscribe if you haven't done so yet. Now, let's continue with the update. Keeping it as short as I can and typos galore because I'm on call. The previous post got so popular that Amy's mom found it and texted me to take it down, in all caps. I got around to reading most of the comments a day after I posted when I finished my shift. I didn't apologize to anyone or do anything at all. Frankly, I forgot about it since I had people close to dying on me left and right at work. I gaslit Amy's mom into thinking that I never did such a thing and that I did not have a Reddit account. She believed it, I think, since she didn't text me back. Come on, the details I put in that post were exactly what she experienced and she didn't find it odd? For clarification, one of you said I had the spine of a jellyfish. I loved that comment. And not apologizing was the right thing to do. I was hesitant and was actually considering giving that apology because she fed me and let me stay in her home during Thanksgiving and Christmas many years ago when I couldn't go home to my family. I'm the kind of person who'll remember every good thing you do for me and do my best to reciprocate or get even so as not be indebted to you. I don't know what kind of mental illness it is. I never retained much of the psychiatric information from med school. Then, a lot of people insinuated that my being docile and restrained in those kinds of situations makes me a bad surgeon. To which I say, I beg your effing pardon? Would you want someone who's operating on you to have a criminal record for causing bodily harm or homicide? Also, I've dealt with worse than Amy. I've survived handling 19 psychotic patients with TBIs for a whole rotation. My being aggressive would have gotten me kicked out of my fellowship. Anyway, things have transpired. I tried to avoid contacting Lisa since she went off on her honeymoon, but because of the popularity of my previous post, I decided to give her a heads up. Lisa was more than apologetic. In fact, she FaceTimed me and we had a very teary conversation about her family. There was a lot more going on that I never knew, but mine and my husband's involvement in her family drama was the last straw. She had decided to go no contact with her mom and sister. She also warned me that Amy might approach my husband in some way, but she had no idea how. She's also getting her extended family involved with Amy. My husband does not have any social media, so hot, and he did not give out his number to anyone at all during the wedding. He is anal about loyalty and transparency in our marriage. We have access to each other's electronics. I know he would never cheat on me. Anyway, 3 days ago, someone called my husband's clinic asking to get his number for an emergency and saying that she needed to get a hold of his wife. The nurse who answered refused to give a physician's personal number and the conversation got heated. My husband's colleague, another intensivist, took over and asked her to tell him what the emergency was so that he could tell my husband himself. The person on the phone argued some more, and when the doctor wouldn't give her what she wanted, she hung up. That friend told my husband what happened and said the woman didn't give her name but had a very high-pitched childlike voice. My husband immediately knew it was Amy, but we have no proof. I know it was her. She must have searched my husband's name on Google and found where he worked since his professional profile is online, along with the name of his hospital. But like I said, we can't prove it, so we'll just have to wait and see if she does anything else. Our only hope is that she stays broke and can't afford to travel to where we live, since it's far from where she lives. I'm getting more and more irritated by this whole thing and have gone full-on mama bear mode over my husband. He was furiously annoyed after the wedding and said that if the genders were switched, he would have definitely gotten punched not even halfway through the wedding. My husband had terrible experiences with women before. 2 women at different times tried to baby trap him. One did some Moriarty level manipulation and one harassed us when we were dating. He is usually a cool and calm guy, but now he hasn't been smiling or joking around with me like he used to since the wedding. Anywho, my uncle, our lawyer, was consulted and security at my husband's department and around our home has been notified. Thank you guys. P.S. Kelly, if you're reading this, do something about your younger daughter before something bad happens. Also, you don't deserve your older daughter. Alright OP, well, I guess this went a little bit deeper for Lisa than anybody anticipated, but good for her. She's cut off the toxic and you guys are okay. So here's wishing you the best in the future OP. Thank you for sharing and take care. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user Veggie Vengeance. I put vegetables in all my food to stop my roommate's kid from eating it. Mom threatens legal action. I, 26 female, live in a rented house with a single mother, 30 female, and her son, 6 male. I had another person living with me, but they moved out and the mother moved in. I don't mind living with her and her kid, it's fine, and we kind of do our own thing. I spend a lot of time at my boyfriend's place or working. Our schedules collide, so we really don't interact much, but when we do, it's fine. No issues there. I want to start by saying that she clearly struggles financially, but I don't think that's an excuse. I don't make lots of money either. However, I've noticed that my food would go missing or portions would be taken from it. I assumed it was her kid, so I asked her if she'd stop him from eating my food. I was calm about it, and she just said she would. It didn't really upset me when it first started. It started getting annoying when I'd get home from work and expect to have a meal's worth of leftovers in the fridge only to see it picked through or just gone. I kept bringing it up, and she started getting annoyed with me. Just by observing them, I realized that neither of them ever ate vegetables, and judging by the food that would get picked through and the food that would be untouched, anything with green in it was avoided. Orange chicken would be gone, but chicken and broccoli would be untouched. So I started putting vegetables in everything. I find vegetables to be delicious, and anything green or not, a potato does not get eaten. So I could mix some bell peppers into the food and that would be fine. I make a big portion of vegetables pretty frequently anyway, so I just started putting them in everything I eat. If I had leftover mashed potatoes, I'd pour green beans and mix them up. If I had leftover cheesy bacon fries, I'd pour broccoli all over them and mix them in. Usually, my homemade stuff has vegetables in it, but I started making sure everything did. I made a pot of mac and cheese, the kids' favorite thing, and poured in roasted Brussels sprouts, which is actually delicious to me. I'm eating more vegetables, so it's a win-win situation. She seemed annoyed, and we were all home when I made the pot of mac and cheese. She was in the living room and saw me get out the Brussels sprouts, and she was like, "What are you going to do with that?" And I poured them in. She said I was being greedy and annoying. I just said, "I like Brussels sprouts." And that was it. She said, "We need food." And I told her to go get some, or stop buying only prepackaged things and your money will go further. I think she sees this as some big act of revenge, but I simply want to be able to eat my food. Also, I want to add that sharing is not an issue. It's expecting to have food there, but it's gone. So often I'd be working a long day and get home expecting to have a meal's worth of food and it'd all be gone. Or I wake up in a rush and have my food ready to eat in the morning only to find it gone. So now I have to skip breakfast. If she would simply text sometimes, "Hey, is it okay if we eat a food item?" I would know and know to make other plans. I would stop for food or know I have to whip up something when I get home. Also, I think eating the last of someone else's food is crazy and rude. If someone makes a big pot of something and you ask for a serving, sure. But if someone made something and there is one serving left and you eat it without permission, that is evil as hell. Well, P, I absolutely agree with you on everything, so I'm gonna cut my commentary short and we're gonna move on straight to the update to see how the story ends. So, I had been steadfast in putting vegetables in everything. I've put vegetables in things I've never even thought of. This has carried on and the mom calls me a jerk but will not verbalize that she is eating my food. She just sees me making lasagna and adding celery and bell peppers in the layers and fumes off to the side. The only thing I can't add vegetables to is snacks like chips or if I bake brownies or cookies. However, this can be easily remedied by putting baked goods in Tupperware and keeping them in my room. Same with chips. As I have previously stated, sharing is not the issue. Recently, the kid knocked on my door and asked if he could have a bag of microwave popcorn. I said yes and gave him one. All of this would have been way less annoying if she'd just texted, "Hey, can I have some of this?" and waited for my response before just helping herself. I do feel for the mom because she clearly struggles with cooking and trying new foods. She is older than me and winces at the thought of biting into anything green, and it is spreading to her kid, but there's no excuse. A few days ago, I was making taco meat out of ground beef, and like usual, she was looking without looking. She was off to the side watching my every move but trying to look normal. I made a dish the day before that involved sauteed mushrooms and cut up peppers. So, when the meat was almost ready, I opened the fridge and she freaked when she saw me holding the mushrooms. She said, "My son hates mushrooms!" And I just poured them in the pan and mixed along with the cut up peppers. This caused her to react in a way I'd never seen from her before. She was yelling and stomping around the kitchen while the kid just watched. I felt bad for the kid to have to see his mom like that. People were worried about her tampering with my food. I don't think she's the kind to do that, but if she did, I would report it right away. She was flipping out, but she didn't snatch my food or knock anything over. She was opening and slamming cabinets, and it was all very silly. She then started going off about how she was going to get the authorities involved. I just told her, sure, and that she needed to relax. She seemed genuinely upset and stressed, and I told her that I understand being a single mom is hard, but she needs to use her government assistance more responsibly. She'll come home with cold mac and cheese, sushi, and chicken from the grocery store, all prepared foods, and blow all her money on that. I suggested food pantries and buying ingredients that last a while, like potatoes. She said I was being condescending, and I always have food to eat. Finally, to those of you telling me to just make a portion of your food and set it aside for her and the kid, I do not make enough money to feed 2 other people regularly. If now and then she asked for some of my leftovers, sure, but this is a consistent thing that has happened. It is not as simple as giving her leftovers that I won't eat anyway. If I make a pot of something, I expect to live off of that for the next few days. If it is eaten, then my money is messed up and I have to go shopping again and budget for more food. It wastes my time and money. Well, OP, I still think you're absolutely right. It is your food and it is your budget and you need to take care of that. I feel sorry for that kid because he's getting 2 bad lessons. 1, being entitled to other people's things, which is never a good thing. And 2, not eating healthy. I know she's probably going through a tough time, but like you say, OP, that's no excuse. Thanks for sharing, OP. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out. So here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later. And also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.